And today I want us to do something interesting. Let's start with the online portals first.
We do?
Yes, so let's start with the online portals and we'll come to the newspapers if it's possible. I know.
Okay.
So we'll try and do myjournline.com and see.
Ronan is trying to change things a bit on the show.
Martin Amidu is in town, so let's do something different. So we'll start with myjournline.com and try to see what's on myjournline.com, and then we'll try as much as possible to give you the latest.
But we're hitting the streets today. We want to gather the thoughts of ordinary people. The citizen vigilante is the special prosecutor. What does it mean to you as a citizen of this country?
Yeah, that's quite interesting.
Okay,
so we'll have it on the main screen also. That's where we can read it very well. So I'm sure Fred will do that.
So we'll start off with myjournline.com, I guess. Okay, so which way? This way or that way? So on myjournline.com, Trump alarms lawmakers with disparaging words for Haiti and Africa. President Trump on Thursday balked at an immigration deal that would include protections for people from Haiti and some nations in Africa. They are not forgiving him for the comment. And if you listen to international media, that's what's really making huge headlines. It's the comments of Mr. Trump that people are talking about. But Africans really offended by the comments that he made.
I'm thinking it's on CNN. So perhaps if we can get I watch it on YouTube though. Okay. But it was a CNN alert on their YouTube channel. So perhaps maybe if we can go look for it on CNN, maybe go to their YouTube. But maybe
we'll get to that in a bit. We'll get that ready and then we will do it. It's together with another story that I thought we would share. This Pakistani girl who was abducted and then, raped and murdered, or defiled and murdered, if you like. That's also making huge headlines. So we'll get there in a bit. Let's finish with myjournline.com. So we'll get to exactly what Mr. Trump is supposed to have said, because it was a closed-door meeting, really, that he made these comments. Let's move on. Still on myjournline.com. In Bembela, sporadic shooting claims 3 lives, 7 critically injured. A late-night sporadic gun attack on residents in the northern region town of Bembela has claimed at least 3 lives and critically injured scores. Situation is a bit volatile. We'll try and get you what is latest today. Martin Namido to get Cynthia Lamte as Deputy Special Prosecutor is a big question. As a woman who's not new to the AG's office, she's worked there for many years. Former Director of Public Prosecution Cynthia Lamte is likely to be named Deputy Special Prosecutor. myjournline.com has learned. So details of that also on the page. Moving on, Professor Jampo on Martin Amidu says Amidu nomination is most objective political appointment in history. More commendations continue to pour in for Nana Akufo-Addo's nomination of renowned anti-graft campaigner Martin Amidu as the independent special prosecutor. If you want to read in detail what Professor Jampo said, you can always click on the story on myjournline.com and you can hear what he's got to say. Akufo-Addo couldn't have made a better choice, obviously, according to former President Jerry John Rawlings. He's congratulated Martin Amidu on his appointment as the country's foremost special prosecutor at the newly created office of the independent prosecutor.
He said before that he's very close to the Rawlings.
Oh, yeah, definitely. You remember the one of the Rawlings ceremonies, one of these key ceremonies. He was a key figure.
Was it June 4th?
I think it was June 4th.
One of those.
Yeah, exactly.
Events,
exactly.
To mark
exactly. So they are very close. All right, let's move on. Amidu's appointment shows NDC have the man, but according to a member of Parliament who is also a member of the Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee, a man who is not new to our show, Roxin Dafamapo, and he says Martin Amidu's appointment shows that they've got the man. Yeah, except that he's got a few reservations about this appointment. You can also read the full story on myjournline.com. Moving on, Cash for Seats pro-presidency was used to make profits, Muntaka insists. It was the first day of sitting. This ad hoc committee, this 5-member committee that's been set up to look into this matter. And we saw the person who moved the motion, and the person who backed the motion, so Muntaka Mubarak and Okujeto Ablakwa, appearing before the committee yesterday. Details of that account also on myjoyonline.com. Let's finish off. Cash for seat probe still. Ablakwa demands explanation for curious payments. And then we'll quickly run through in terms of the other stories that we have on the page. Okay, suspected killer of police at Drobonso arrested. One person has been arrested at Kwamai. That was in our news.
Yes, it was.
On that beat, bringing us up to speed with this situation.
And I also love the Hotline documentary, Poison on the Menu too. What you eat could kill you. Yeah. But let me just go through City FM Online. City FM Online, Rollins Hills, Fearless Amidu's selection as special prosecutor. The cleansing of the NDC and the MPP and all that will begin. We have Amidu's nomination. That's the second. Let's go. Fred. Amidu's nomination as special prosecutor. Refreshing news. Inusa Fuseni, who is also a lawyer. Then we have former Central Regional Minister Isaac Idumate dies. May his soul rest in peace. But we have other stories. The Nanado names Martin Amidu as special prosecutor. But we have other stories on the page. City FM Online. 2 shots as robbers attack mobile money agent at Busia Junction. And 2 persons, they sustained severe gunshot wounds at Busia Junction near Odoko in Accra, following those attacks on a mobile money agent. Now we have Emil Short saying appointing Martin Amidu as special prosecutor was wise and prudent. I can't find any other personality who has been described across the political divide in such a very positive manner, following an appointment like Martin Amidu. It's quite refreshing, to know that.
Well, one of the things we will do is we will click on what you need to know about Martin Amidu, what is put together by City FM. We'll go through a few of the things that he's known for. We will probably come back to that. Let's do the newspapers, Roland. Whilst we open this bit about Martin Amidu, we'll share the full details with you. Let's do the Daily Graphic newspaper. On the front page of the Graphic this morning, Amidu named special prosecutor. Rawlins congratulates him, and they've got a very fine photograph of Mr. Martin Amidu walking. Was he walking or taking a move or a step? You see that in a bit. So Mr. Martin Alamisi Amidu, special prosecutor. This photo by Samuel Tay Adano. Also, 2 cops gunned down, another seriously injured. Parliamentary probe on cash for seats begins. So there's an insert of Kwesi Ameya Chireme, who's chairman of that committee, on the front page of the Daily Graphic newspaper. 14 to stand trial over Major Mahama's death, another headline on the front page of the Daily Graphic newspaper. Let's see, maybe on page 16, details of those who are going to be standing trial for the death of Major Maxwell Mahama. Story says the 14 people who are alleged to have murdered Major Maxwell Adam Mahama at Dintra Boase will now stand trial at the High Court after they were committed by the Accra Central District Court yesterday. The military officer was lynched at Dintra Boase on May 29, 2017, an incident that threw the country into a state of mourning. All the accused persons are to face the High Court on charges of murder and conspiracy to commit murder. So their names given here, and then the evidence that was submitted, the witnesses and the evidence, details of the lynching, all the accounts detailed here in the Daily Graphic newspaper this morning. All right, so that's it. The picture of Martin Amidu on the front page of the Daily Graphic newspaper. I couldn't have been better. So that's the man who is going to be the special prosecutor. I tell you what, yesterday, from the time the president made the announcement till the close of day, everything was Martin Amidu, and it's going to continue pretty much
close of night,
the day,
until we went to bed.
Yeah.
And I just woke up this morning, checked onto Facebook, and it's still there.
And on Twitter, as soon as within 10 minutes of the announcement by the president, it was trending on Twitter. I mean, it was like the hottest news in Ghana. So
even on football pages, it was there.
So everywhere you go, more like
football pages.
Let's see on the back page of the graphic, though, on the back page of the Daily Graphic, the Food and Agriculture Organization has presented a consignment of personal protection equipment to support the Ministry of Food and Agriculture in fighting the fall armyworm threats in the country. Also, Ashanti Health Directorate receives assistance. Story says Millennium Promise, an international NGO, has presented 1,000 smartphones and other items to the Ashanti Regional Health Directorate for an e-health technical assistance initiative, and details of that donation also on the back page of the graphic newspaper this morning. So really, Roland, that's it for the graphic.
Right, so let's look at the Ghanaian Times. On the front page of the Ghanaian Times, where the story Martin Amidu named special prosecutor. It's taking the shine away from the cash for seats ongoing probe in Parliament. Muntanka Ablakwa appeared before Parliament, and that's the Ghanaian Times we're talking about. It will be on your screens very shortly, don't worry. We also have 2 cops killed, 1 injured by an unknown gunman. Now let's go to the back page of the Ghanaian Times. G8, Karela United FC trash dwarfs. Adriana starts too strong for 11 wonders. Now let's go to the Daily Guide. The Daily Guide has on the front page Nana names Amidu special prosecutor. We're talking Daily Guide here. 2 cops gunned down, and then we're also being told, according to the Daily Guide, that EC infighting deepens. Muntaka Ablakwa cash for probe seats in Parliament. Now let's go to the center spread of Parliament because of the Daily Guide. We always look at it. They have some interesting stories there. Okay, and okay, that'll be it. We're not reviewing the center spread today. Please, what do you have?
We're not?
Yeah, we're not.
Okay. We're doing the Finder, though. Front page of the Finder newspaper. Amidu, the special one, to prosecute anti-graft agenda, according to President Akufo-Addo. There's a photograph of the president, the vice president, and then Martin Amidu smiling in the photograph, looking on and smiling, sort of, is one of the deputy chiefs of staff at the presidency. Also on the front page, 2 police officers killed, 1 other hit by robbers. CPC supplies cocoa powder to free SHS student. Minister sends 14 workers home for lateness. That's Jogate, the railways development minister. And I hear when you go to the ministry at like 7:30 thereabouts or 7, the workers are there, like they are seated. They will do their prayer, the morning prayer, and then start work. No lateness, because if you're late, the minister will send you home. I'll bring you a bit of that story as it is captured in the Final newspaper. A lot of discipline now at the Railways Ministry. So let's see, where do we begin from? Let's start off with this free cocoa powder that's been given to free SHS students, and who is paying for that. Story says cocoa processing companies confident of delivering over 126 metric tons of Golden Tree cocoa powder to all public boarding senior high schools by the end of next week. The cocoa powder serves as the main beverage for first-year students benefiting from the government-free SHS policy. Okay, so the managing director, Nana Ajenimboateng I, told the Finder that by the end of this week, public senior high schools with boarding facilities in 7 regions would have received their consignment. You know, cocoa powder, I guess, for breakfast.
When I was in school, that was what I was buying, because the cheapest on the market.
But they should add milk to it.
It's a powder, proper powder. And you can see the strands of sugar in one. Most people were drinking better Milo and those.
No, but they should make it creamy. Yeah, it shouldn't be like the raw with plenty water. I want to see.
If you want to do cream, means you're adding milk, like milk powder.
I want to see the how it is set. Otherwise, it should be thick. You get what I mean? What, were you starved in school?
No, that was
the way I'm describing the thing.
In between, I usually didn't like taking breakfast. So.
Okay. Okay, so this story about Joe Gatti, who would send you home if you're late to work, says Railways Development Minister Joe Gatti on Wednesday sent a clear signal to staff of his intolerance for lateness to work when he sent home 14 staff who reported to work late. They comprise 9 permanent staff and 5 national service personnel. The action demonstrates that workers should be disciplined in the discharge of their duties. The minister did not take any further action against the workers, and therefore the affected workers reported to work very early yesterday. Somebody said, quote, "It was a wake-up call, and I will monitor their response," which I believe will be positive.
Which ministry is this?
No, that's Joe Gatti speaking here. That's the Railway Ministry. So the minister spoke to the finder. The minister declined to reveal his next steps to instill discipline in the staff of his ministry. Quotes, "I have to put on record that the staff have worked very hard last year, but I am just asking them to work harder," he added. So a bit of details. There's a lot more details to the story. But I hope that he will not end up policing the staff. Otherwise,
you don't get the best out of them.
Exactly. I hope that they learn the lesson. But really, I don't know.
Ministry.
Yeah.
The problem with the civil service is sometimes by the time you see they've relaxed the whole situation again. So you constantly would have to be. And then when you're too constant too at being on their neck, they tend to undermine you in some respect.
Yeah.
So but you just have to find a certain fine balance about how you manage people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But sure this was a good move.
Yeah, he's experienced enough, so he knows what to do.
And he's quite a strict person.
Yes, he should be.
Yeah, he's a strict person. All right, there are other stories in the finder. By the way, you can grab the paper, Roland.
Right. So we have the last paper. We'll be looking at.
No, I've seen the Chronicle. We've got to do the Chronicle. I haven't seen it on the show for.
Okay, so we have the Chronicle.
For a long time.
NDC is dead.
Dead in court.
As NDC, as Amidu head Special Prosecutor's Office.
No, they are deaded.
They are deaded.
No, but that's just a joke.
It's like I heard some English somebody spoke. Putted, like putted. So Okujato speaks with forked tongue. Ghana Mines Workers Union strips Goldfield snake. JJ was forced to embrace democracy. Kwanzaa on center spread. We have 2 policemen gunned down at Fulani Wharf front. And the main story is about how the NDC is dead by the Chronicle.
But listen, I think that don't focus too much on the NDC. The man who is coming in, you think you can predict him. Yeah. But if you follow the things that he has done in the past, he's going to be on you as well.
Yeah. If he's done it to his own party, it means that
he can do it. So I think that nobody should be really smiling. Nobody.
And when he's reaching his age, Charlie, he wants to leave a lasting legacy. That is even more dangerous.
Oh, but even apart from that,
last days are dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's been to the public. That's how he's been.
Okay.
Really.
Let's see how it goes. We have the Daily Statesman newspaper. It says, Amidu is special prosecutor. Fear grips Mahama, Akufo-Addo appointees. Mahama agreed with Rawlings. Victor Smith revealed. And thieves arrested.
As in what? The thieves stole
they went
the
to steal a dead body.
Wow.
All right. So
okay, through with the Statesman. Let's finish off with the Business and Financial Times, and then we'll go back to City FM Online for that write-up on Martin Amidu. Front page of the BNFT. President Kufuor praises local entrepreneurs, calls on youth to emulate Jospon despite and others. Continued fiscal reforms point to positive economic outlook, according to Oxford Business Group. Agric returning to growth path is a big question. On the front page of the paper, you might want to look at the detailed story. Maslock to disburse 38 million Ghana cedis to small businesses. If you're hoping to get some capital or some money to boost your business, you're a local business owner, you might want to read the details of this and how you can also benefit from this. Back page, First National Bank appoints Hannah Annabel Akwa's head retail banking. And introduction of online travel insurance policy timely, according to the aviation minister. That's it for the newspapers. Now, let's learn more about the man, and then we'll bring you that story on this Pakistani girl, this 6-year-old who's been not sure. Okay,
I'm told that rather we have a package about him.
Oh, we do. So okay, so I guess we'll just skip this one then. Let's go.
Okay, they say we have a profile, so we'll just.
So let's learn more about the man.
Good morning. Good morning.
Okay, all right, so this is it on Martin Amidu. We'll read a bit of that for you. He's been involved in a couple of controversies. He was relieved of his post back in 2012 by President John Evans at Mills for misconducts. Yeah, he single-handedly challenged the legality of the payments of the 51.2 million cedis judgment to Alfred Woyome. And then Martin Amidu is on record to have called for a vote against the NDC led by John Mahama, citing their failure to retrieve monies paid the businessman Alfred Woyome. There's a video. I'm going to, after the headlines, I'm going to get that video and then we'll show it to you, yeah, when you're on AM Talk. I'm going to show that recording of him making that announcement. Okay, so that's it. That's a bit about the man Martin Amidu, the man who is the special prosecutor.
Yeah, it's coming.
All right, okay, so that's it. Really, that's it. Let's do a Pakistani story and let's make way for sports here on the show. Let's quickly. All right, there's a story that I want to share with you. It's making huge, headlines. It's getting a lot of people talking, but it's also one that gets you really sad. Look at this sweet little girl. Her name is Zainab. She was abducted, she was defiled, and then she was murdered, dumped in a refuse dump, if you like. Okay, so she's 7, and it's getting a lot of people. Let's just play the story. This is from CNN online, by the way. So there are a lot of protests, a lot of conversations around this, but this is just one of many incidents like this in Pakistan. A lot of children find themselves in this, and so that's one of the major things happening around the world. So this is it. That's the footage of the person who abducted the girl. There's actually a CCTV camera that picked it, and they simply cannot. And this was the refuse dump where they finally found.
They cannot identify the girl.
No, the girl has been.
The gentleman.
They have, but that's what people don't understand. You've seen the person on, and the other criticism is that if the police had acted, if the authorities had acted swiftly, then the girl probably would have been found before her murder, if you like. But the parents were on a trip to Saudi Arabia, I think, and it's hard. It's hard. So people are just taking advantage of this current situation and saying that a lot of things like these happen every day in our country. you know. So that's the situation with the Pakistan and this little sweet girl who was abducted, was defiled, was murdered and dumped, you know, just like that. Yeah. All right, on that note, Roland, we're through. We'll bring you sports in a bit. Stay with us. You're watching the AM Show.